Parshas Vayishlach, Tafshin Pei Gimel. We're going to talk about what was the reason Yaakov was so fearful of Esau. Makes no sense. And what we're going to learn from it personally in every day in our life is invaluable. Yaakov here is going to teach us a lesson on two folds. Okay, so let's start with the pasuk as usual. The pasuk starts, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim lefanav. Yaakov crosses the Jordan River. First thing he does, so the Midrash says he was welcomed by 400,000 malachim to protect him. What is Yaakov doing? He says, you know what? Guys, I have a mission for you. You will go to Esau, and we're going to see what you're going to tell him. But right away, 1 second. Did you ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Who told you to take the malachim and use them as messenger for what? What are you trying to achieve here? Esau is in his, as far as you're concerned, Esau is not around. Let him be where he is. Don't try to remind him that you have taken the brachas. So why would you do that, Yaakov Avinu? Why would you do something without even asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu? He sent it to Esau, his brother. Oh, that's the first time we see Esau in the Torah. We don't know he's his brother. So why is it repeated? Esau, his brother. Now they're going to give us a GPS again. Atza Seir Sede Edoim. The land of Seir in the fields of Edom. You want to give me the address, exact address, so I can put on my Waze? Which street and everything? We never refer in the Torah Esau that way. He's Seir. He received the land of Seir, that's all. So why is here the Torah goes to such an extent of giving us languages which are out of the usual? So he orders them. Oh, Yaakov, nice stop. He tell them, you know what? This is what you're going to tell them. Ladoini le'Esau. Make sure you mention that I refer to him as my master Esau. Koi amar avdecha Yaakov. So said your servant Yaakov. 1 second. Do you think psychologically that's the best way? You show weakness, you turn to be a prey. You turn to be a prey. Don't wonder why, you're going to be antagonized and you're going to be bullied. You showed yourself as a prey. But watch out, Yaakov doesn't act as a prey here. And he goes, Im Lavan Gati. I lived with Lavan, va'echar adata. In other words, I've been there till now. This is a disguised threat. Even Lavan, the very Lavan that you're very scared about, you're very scared of, the one that you didn't want to pursue me, when I was going there because you're so scared of Lavan, as the Zohar says, that Lavan was so strong in Kishuf, no one ever in the world has reached his level. And anyone, he would say, a lachash mean a spell on someone, he would be finished. Nobody could be saved from Lavan. You were scared to go there. I've been there for 32 years, for 22 years. And we're going to see what happened. I don't think I'm going to be able to go explain anything any further. but it would be pretty much great if we can get into this already. Stop sharing. So here we have in front of us a few questions. We have Yaakov Avinu, the Bechir HaAvos, the more complete of all the forefathers, the one that never made a mistake. Out of fear for Esau, dreadful fear from Esau, he goes and anticipates and sends him malachim. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends him 400,000 malachim to protect him. Let me tell you a story. When they came back and they told him that, you know what? By the way, Esau is on his way to meet you also. We didn't have to go all the way up there. So right away, Yaakov rushed and started preparing an offering and sent it, in groups. When the first group reached Esau, quoting the Midrash, so Esau said, "Who are you?" So the Malach told him, "Who are you?" You want to antagonize Esau. He was the strongest man. So the Malach repeated, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm Esau, the son of Yitzchak." Started beating him up to death. Come the 400 men with him, the Malachim there beat them up with the rods, broke their back. He asked him again, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm Esau, the grandson of Avram." And here we go back and beating them and beating them and beating them till the 400 men started running away. They said, "We can't take such a beating. They're going to kill us." Then the Malachim stopped eating. They said, "Who are you? What's your name?" He says, "Esau, the brother of Yaakov." The Malach tells him, like swearing, "I swear, if you had not said that, we would have killed you right here." Esau started dreading from Yaakov. We see what HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent to Yaakov. Yaakov, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved you from 22 years, from the biggest mechashe, from the biggest witchcrafter, sorcerer. He had everything, Lavan. He taught, the Zohar says, he taught his grandson, Bilam. And Bilam was a pale copy from Lavan. So we're going to break down the stages and trying to understand the philosophy behind that fear of what motivated it, and try to understand the whole mahalach in the psukim, try to explain the psukim a little bit more in depth and see what's the story that's revealed behind those words. In order to do that, I would like to take back where we left it last week, the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the dream, and the neder of Yaakov. So I put it in a table, just one against the other, so you can see the difference. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Avram, to Yaakov in a dream, "Vehine anochi imach," I am with you. Yaakov said the next morning, "Im yeh Elokim imadi," if God will be with me. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already promised it to you. What do you come back here and request it? Ushmarticha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu again gives him an aftacha, an assurance, a guarantee. I will keep you bechol asher telech, on all your journey. Yaakov asked, Ushmarani baderech hazeh asher anochi halech, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu should oversee, me and protect me in my journey. Total repetition. You're requesting something that was already promised to you. And I will return it to this land. In other words, nothing bad will happen to you during all that journey. And he's asking, he give me bread and a cloth. But nothing bad will happen to you. You'll have a lot more than this. This is what Kadosh Baruch Hu says. He will return you to this land without having any harm. Do you think someone hungry or someone poor or someone without clothes is a person that has no harm? No, he's being harmed. I will not abandon you. And he says, V'shavti b'shalom el beisavi. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised you everything. Yaakov, what was the purpose? Once you woke up in the morning, what was the purpose of your tefillah and you made a neder on it? What was the purpose? Everything you have said basically was promised to you. I'd like to show you that pasuk here. I'm pretty sure, I don't know. Maybe we B'ez Hashem will reach there. So let me show you. Had the Torah is playing with us, telling us, do not translate that literally here, because there's a much deeper sense, deeper meaning. Vayhili shoyer v'chamer tzoin ve'eved ve'shivcha. I had cattle, donkeys, flocks, servants, and maids. But didn't you send to Esau gemalim menikos? You had male camels, female camels, giving birth camels, all kind of animals. Why don't you mention it? Why do you start by saying vayhili? I had. No, you have. The proof is that you've been sending some to Esau. So why did you tell him, I had in the past? It should be present, because you want to show now you're a wealthy man. And right away, the pasuk goes, Vayira Yaakov me'oid. Not he was scared a bit, very scared from Esau. I mean, come on. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a haftacha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed you that you were unharmed 22 years from Lavan, despite the spells he was trying every day to corrupt your mind, because that's the way he wanted to go. He was the predecessor of Amalek. Work in the mind of Jews. Don't try to harm them physically. This is only physical Jews. Have no problem with that. Not that we pro that chas v'shalom, but it means it's not going to change. Try to entice them. Try to do like the Yevanim. You see, Nebuchadnezzar in Babel tried to harm the bodies. He lost. He got no followers. He drove him crazy. The Midrash says, the Perek of Tehillim on Aros Bavel, do you know what happened then? He used to love music. And he told, and the Levim were specialists, at that time, they were the biggest musicians, even up to today's standard. He told them, take your violins and all your instruments and play for me. And they used to play with their thumb. The Levim said, we cannot. Why? So because we don't have a thumb anymore. They beat their thumb out because they knew that he would ask them to play. He took the most beautiful children from Am Yisrael, girls and boys, and he used to like going on his river there, Euphrates maybe there, I don't know. He wanted to keep them, to make them like his people, because they were so beautiful, the kids of Am Yisrael. The girl said, we're not going to sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. 300 girls together first jumped and drowned. The boys saw that, said, our sisters preceded us to Olam Haba. The next 300 jumped. You want to antagonize Am Yisrael? They will die our Kiddush Hashem. The Yevanim came with a different approach. By the way, this Parasha is full of Remazim on Hanukkah, but I'm just going to show one little thing. They tried to entice us with philosophy, with das, because Am Yisrael is very keen to understanding, to chokhmah, to everything, and that's the way you make them stumble, chas v'shalom. So anyway, we said last week, B'Shem the Zohar, that why did Yaakov repeated the neder, despite having an assurance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu that he will be saved and he will have all this bounty, and protection and so forth. As he saw himself, because he's on his way back, Lavan couldn't do anything. It's because it was a dream. And he thought dreams, a lot of it is basically fake. But as we're going to see, it's extremely, extremely hard to say that. And the Zohar needs an explanation why. Because even Yaakov, after he went from Har Moriah, he arrived in Haran and he met Rachel on the bear, and they told him, the shepherds, we need all the shepherds here, means the 7 roim of the Bnei Israel, all of them, because the Zohar says he was, in the Midrash says also he was Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov that met him there. The 3 shepherds that were there are the 3. Is Yaakov, he meets Yaakov? Yes. I'll give an explanation if I have time at the end. So, and right away he approached, and we saw last week he was praying for having the power of the 7 shepherds. He picked it up like a cork on a bottle. So he knew Hashem was with him from the beginning. Actually, if you take the word ha'adarim, equals 329, like exactly Vayelech Harana. He was scared. I can understand Yaakov. When you start a journey to go to Harana, Haran means the anger of the Satan that you have been outplaying Esau and taking the brachas, I understand. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu shows you that the Satan himself cannot against you. He gave you the power of the 7 shepherds. Now, a 4th theory, you're on your way back and you're starting having a doubt. And for that, you put your knees down and you go send to Esau Malachim. Let Esau come and see this. The Midrash says they looked like on horses, on like armies with, what do you call this? With, what they wear in those times, this metal armors and chars and all kind of weapons. They were scary. Let us have come. You will see who'll be dreading. Actually, the Midrash says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was very displeased. I think it's the Midrash Rabbah, if I recall well. Midrash Yilamdeinu, sorry. It says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was very displeased. It's like a rotting river. When a tzaddik fears before the Rasha. When a tzaddik put his knees down before a Rasha. It's like all of a sudden, all your tziskas disappear. You don't trust in Hashem anymore. That you have to be mechanef, the Rasha. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished Yaakov Avinu and said, you know what? You said 8 times, Adoni Esau, my master Esau. For the 8 times you said my master, because of that, he will precede you and have 8 kings before the first king of Israel. Obviously, there are also soides here, secret. What the difference does he make, to us? He had 8 kings. He could have had 10. Big difference. And because you said Avdecha Yaakov, that's a nasty punishment. That's a tough one, I should say. Your children will be enslaved in this world by Esau. In other words, had you not say that, Esau could not anything against us. In this world, will be the same way that Yaakov was a gibor. The Midrash says he was a gibor, and he had no reason to fear physically from Esau. He was just strong. Actually, Yaakov was stronger than Esau. The only thing is Yaakov didn't want to kill Esau because he knew that his mother said that Lama eshkal shneichem yom echad. Why would I lose both of you the same day? So if Yaakov would come and hurt Esau and kill him, Yaakov would die the same day. But that was not the reason of the year of Yaakov. He was not. Why did you start sending him malachim? Why did you start doing anything like this? This very situation repeated itself in this story. In Bereshis Rabbah, Midrash Rabbah brings down that when Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, let me give you the story first. A tiny story. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, at the time, the Romans had made a decree, you're not allowed to learn Torah, you're not allowed to make bris milah and Shabbos. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel had a boy. He says, no way, I'm not going to make a bris milah on the 8th day. He was the Nasi of Am Yisrael. He was the prince. Had to give the example. He made a bris milah. There was a Meiser there that went to Caesar and told him, or whatever Caesar, whichever one he was, or a bunch of idiots. So he told him that they made a bris milah. So right away, he called Rab Shimon ben Gamliel to come to Rome with the boy. So Rab Shimon ben Gamliel comes with his wife and the boy. And as they were in Rome, they were trying to find where to get hosted, because the next day they had to see the Caesar. So a couple of Romans, saw that he was an important person. He says, come to my house. So he saw the worried faces of the father and the mother. He says, why are you worried? He says, because tomorrow we have to meet Caesar. Why? He says, because we did a bris milah to our son. And he forbids it. And he wants to see it. Then he killed the parents and the child. So he says, when was he born? So I told him the day he was born. I said, you know what? We had a son born the same day. Why don't you take our son and go like this to Caesar? It's a great idea. So the next morning, Shimon Gamliel and his wife take the baby from the Romans and go. And he sees Caesar that he was not circumcised. So the guy told him, it's their God that makes miracle to them, because I was there at the bris. Doesn't say what this Meiser high-end him, but who was that little boy that Reb Shimon ben Gamliel carried in his hand? He was Antoninus. Antoninus will become the best friend of Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, to the point that when Antoninus died, Rabbi Yehuda Anasi says, part of me died. They were, so when Rabbi Yehuda Anasi one time wrote a letter to Antoninus, he wrote exactly like Yaakov, your servant Yehuda. Got very angry, Antoninus, and he tore up the letter. He says to him, you're not allowed to write me, you're my servant. You're not my servant. Why do you write like this? He says, because my forefather wrote that way. In other words, I don't understand Midrash against Midrash, Gemara against Gemara. If it's passable of a punishment, you're not supposed to write this. Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, you came a lot later. You were the prince of Am Yisrael. You know that Torah. So why did you write it? If it was an advice from Yaakov with a different meaning, why should we be punished to be enslaved by Esau because Yaakov Avinu said such a thing? Makes no sense. In other words, we see here that when we explain Bepashtus, the psukim, we get nowhere. We only have contradictions. We only have more questions. So let's try to take a different path. Let's try to go a little bit now under the skin and see, go more into the words of the pasuk. I'm going to bring you to the psukim now. The Midrash says, even though it seems from the pasuk, the pashtus is Katonti mikol hachasadim umikol haemes. Yaakov was saying this to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the Midrash says no. He was said this to Esau. Ki bemakli avarti es hayarden hazeh. With my stick, I crossed this Jordan River. Ve'ata hayisi, and now I became lishnei machnes, 2 camps. Makes any sense? Ki bemakli, with my stick. What's the story? Story behind it is Esau, when he found out that Yaakov was running away, right away, he told his son Eliphaz, that was the Talmid of Yaakov, to go and kill Yaakov. Eliphaz rushes, catches up with Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu tells him, take my possessions, because ani chashuv kemeis, a poor is considered a dead, and that's it. He says like this, you're not going to spill the blood and be liable for it. Eliphaz agreed. And when he came back to his father was very angry at him, wanting to kill him the way I told you and everything, you bunch of loser. And then Esau goes to talk to his grandfather, to his grandson Amalek, and tells him, when not now, but when they're going to come out of Egypt, get even with them. So what did he take from him? There's another midrash, I cannot remember. Oh, Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer. In Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, he brings down that, I think it's Perek Lamed Ches. He took even his clothes. He left him naked with nothing. Yaakov had to go into the river in order to get covered. Hashem made a miracle that there was a parash. A parash is these soldiers on a horse, a cavalier. Came, was hot day, took off his clothes, went into the river. All of a sudden, there's a current comes from the river, sweeping him, drowns him. And this is how Yaakov found clothes and a horse. And with these clothes, he went to Haran. It's a nice story, right? Anywhere in this pasuk? Look in here. If we take that word, Bemakli, he had nothing left and he was on a horse, according to the thing. So which stick he had? And even if we say he had a stick, like what do you have to mention? That it's such a valuable possession? No, Prakita say you had a horse, which is much, much more valuable. If you had nothing and you were naked and you only had a stick, I understand you mentioned the only possession you have. But here you had much better. So what is the pasuk telling us, Bemakli? Bemakli equals 182. Equals Yaakov. What is he telling him? He's telling him, when I came to this river, I had strictly nothing. Your son, Eliphaz, stole everything from me. And you know it. That's the point he's drilling into his head. Don't you pretend you don't know you Esau. Oh, yes, you know it because you sent him. This is Bemakli tells him Eliphaz was the Ganav. He stole all my possessions. And here are the sources of our Midrashim so far. And I still crossed that Jordan River. What is he telling us here? I crossed this Jordan River. Avati Esayaden Hazeh. This equals to 1,369. Equal 37 square. Since I don't know on the keyboard how to make square, I'm just going to write 37 times 37. Whenever you have a square number, it means there's no other opening. In other words, what is 37? Hevel. Hevel Havalim. He says, don't you try anything against me. I've had it all already and I escaped the worst. Now, any idea you might have to come at me or whatever will be futile. It's not going to help. You're not going to be able to hurt me. You're not going to be able to do anything. So he warns him in the harshest words possible. Doesn't answer why he sent him the thing, why he's trying to warn him. Okay, you might say, maybe Esau, we saw that in the Zohar last week with Rivka was the Gilgul of Chava. Yaakov was a Gilgul of Adam HaRishon, but Esau was a Gilgul of the Nachash. What if he comes with the power of the Nachash? Yaakov tells him, Ve'ata, and now. He shouldn't have said Hayisi. He should have said Ani. And now I am. Not now I was. Because Hayisi is past. Exactly the same problem we have with the past here. The two temps here don't match. They contradict each other. Ve'ata, and now Hayisi, I was. Doesn't make any sense. And now I am. He should have said Ve'ata Ani. So what is the pasuk here? Pasuk doesn't make mistakes in vocabulary, in grammar like this. The pasuk is sending us a message here. This just to tell us there is something here. Ve'ata hayisi equals 916. The Zohar calls the lily, the Nachash, the serpent, Eshes Zenunim. How do we say this in good English? She's a woman of bad morals, put it that way, with behema, animal. How was Esav bringing the power of the Nachash on him when he wanted to do sorcery and curse? He was having relations with his donkey. The bigger the tumor, the bigger power she lends that person. So Yaakov says, even if you think of coming with that power, it's hevel. It's not going to help you. I have her under my shoe. She can do nothing. I've trapped them. They trapped Adam Arishon at the beginning. I trapped them back. They are finished. She can do what she wants. Even her, she can come against me. I'm going to bring you proof to this. I became two camps. What do you mean two camps? Because he split his people in two camps. These are the two camps. So which two camps is Yaakov mentioning? Yaakov is saying it pretty clearly here. Because this equals to 864. And we're going to learn quite a bit from this one. Shnei Machanois, 864. Not even going to type it, I'm just going to copy it. That's one. Equals yeah, it equals 12 times. So I'm going to write 12 times Chesed, which we know Chesed equals 72, and it's the name of Atzilus. This name, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, written like this, equals 72. So usually we had it. So he has the Yud with him. So 1, 2. The camp of Tuma, I have him, he's on me, and the camp of Gdusha, I also have him. This is what, when Esav heard this, say the Zohar, so he doesn't explain all this, the Zohar, but say, when he heard that pasuk, when he told him this, Esav was started shanking. He says, who's going to ever be able to fight against Yaakov? He's so strong. You're going to think, maybe Esav, now that I have the female snake, maybe I'll take the male snake. Yaakov tells him, Yaakov plus, so I'll put it that way. Yaakov, Satan, equals 541, equals Yisro. When was Yaakov called Yisro? Only when he beat the Satan, right? When was Yaakov deserveful of having the 12 Shiftei Ka, the 12 tribes, when he beat the Satan there? So now, first level in this world, he was Zoiche to have his 12 sons by beating the Satan. And he's going to be called Israel. Look at this. Yaakov, we have to, in order, so in other words, for us, you know, when we say, I'm just going to open something for you to understand the depth of this. When you say Shema Yisrael, what do we say? Who is Yisrael? Shema Yisrael. Oh, we're talking to ourselves. Oh, listen, oh Yisrael. Means all of us together, that we together we create the nation of Israel. So we're talking to ourselves, Shema Israel, and we tell ourselves, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Those 4 words are connected, Yud, K, Vav, K. Hashem Yud, Elokeinu Hey, Hashem Vav, Echad Hey. So we're going to do these 4 words. But when we say Shema Yisrael, who do we talk to? The Zohar HaKadosh says, simple Kavanah in Shema, Yisrael Saba. We're talking to Yaakov Avinu. Our grandfather Yisrael, see that even today where we are, we still say and believe Hashem Elokeinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is our God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem Echad, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is one. We're talking to Yaakov Avinu. And the same way he became Yisrael, a Jew can only become Yisrael once he has the Satan under his shoe. I'm going to raise a level of question here. The Midrash said, the Midrash Lamdenu before said, that Yaakov was punished for saying Avdecha Yaakov, right? Why? Because it kinds of disrespect the Torah and the Kedusha that Yaakov represented and putting it at the feet of a Rasha Merusha like Esau. And you're not allowed to do that. Are you fear? You can't fear. But I fear. You don't fear. You remember what we said so many times. Pachad equals 92. Hashem Elokecha equals 92. So how come Yaakov Avinu, to whom we're going to say the Shema Yisrael, you are the source of saying that Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, to the point that we repeat it generation after generation and we call upon you when we say that. And you were the one fearing? You the one under Pachad and you're not the one under Hashem Elokecha? How is it that you lost? Chaz v'shalom to talk like this about Yaakov Avinu. But just for us to understand, how is it possible that you have lost that capacity to be under Hashem's wings and not fear, and you went to fear? Our we are the last generations before Mashiach. So that's a behavior that was acceptable for us. But for Yaakov Avinu, the one who's going to bring the neshama of Adam Arisha into to before the chet, to the point that Chazal says in Tanis that Yaakov lo yimes, and it's bedin that Yaakov lo yimes. It's normal. If he corrected all the sins of Adam Arishan and brought him until before the chet, so it's before the klala of death, then he shouldn't die, and he didn't die. I don't want to go into this one because yes, the Gemara asks, so what was the kvura, what was the whole thing? It's another parsha, so I don't want to go out. So, but the point is, Yaakov Avinu, according to the Midrash, made the mistake by saying Avdecha Yaakov. Okay, let's check it up. We are simple people. We learn pshat. We learn in the words of the pasuk, these are only light. Let me take it. Equals 278. The exact number of Oyer Haganus. Yaakov come with the light. He didn't belittle himself. He hinted something to Esau. It says in the pasuk, "Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim ve'es haaretz, ve'haaretz ha'isa soihu va'avoihu." There's no vav. Va'avoihu ve'choshech al. The ha'is ha'isa soihu va'avoihu ve'choshech al penei Sehoim. There is a vav there. I think so. Veruach. Soihu klipa. Boihu klipa. That was in the word. Choshech. You know what choshech stands for already, no? Shor chamor kelev. Sehoim klipa. Ruach klipa. 5 klippers that were in the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many times it says light in the pasuk? 5 times. 5 times can I get these 5 klippers. As long as we stand on our field, our ground of light, the other side can do nothing. Yaakov Avinu basically reinforces his logic, Tal Esav, don't even waste your time. I'll give you such a beating that you know, you'll regret even coming here. You'll be so ashamed to receive such a beating from me, from a rabbi, you know, before all you people. And besides that, Esav, well, now we know that was preconditioned already. He was hit like to death by the Malachim. So he was already, you know, inclined to start trusting that Yaakov Avinu was kind of a special person. Right now, you can do nothing against Yaakov. So how is it possible that the Midrash say we're going to be punished, we're going to be enslaved by Esav? Means our lives in this world have been ruined. We could have had both worlds, and now we're not going to have both worlds. I want to show you, even though I'm going to open another tiny parenthesis, but it's such a knowledge, this, you will understand. We said there yesterday, last week also. Today, Edom is also a little bit in this Parasha. If you're taking the next letters, you see the first klippa is the klippa of Esau. He has the power to hold the Shechina. Sadeh is always the Shechina. Chakal tapuchim kadishin, the orchard of the apple orchard. And this is when the Shechina start going up from this world to the next world. When we say Ana bechoyach on Friday night, right before the Chadoidi, the Shechina leaves this world and goes up to the next world. Now the Shechina will rest. But the one that jumps high, you know, like those cats that jump at birds and try to catch them on the flight, a lynx does this. The Esav has the power. Why? Because Esav is the klippa of Soihu. If you realize here, every letter is the next letter here. After Shin is Sa. After Dalet is Hey. After Hey, it's Vav. So when Yaakov told him, I am the Oyer Haganuz, this is, despite I know which klippa you are, which strength you have, that you can even, while the Shechina Hakdosha is going up, you can catch it, I'll give you such a beating that you will remember all your life, such a spanking you will regret that you have come here. So now, we're going to, we're facing a question, even on the Midrash. Why should we get punished? I'm just going to give a little bit of an opening here now before explaining this passage, because I see I have a tiny bit of time and I would like to give you an explanation here. It's very fundamental for us. Because then we're going to understand when to fear, what to do, when to act, and how to act. When should we be bullish, confident, and so forth? A lot of questions will be answered by after we finish understanding a different pshat in this passage. So if I take the words, Okay, he was punished, we said, for Adoni Esau. Fine. Let's see what's behind those words. $441. Whoa, we know that word. Well, just respect. I mean, just take the numbers, change them in letters. 140, 400. MS. Oh. You're trying to send a message to Esau that he has MS? That's not right. That's a lie. Midevar sheker tirchak. There is no more to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Shekarim lo yikane neged einai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has an aversion for those who lie. Even in a joke, even in a thing, a person should not lie. Even though he's going to be liable, even anything, don't lie. Yaakov did. Titen emes leYaakov. Yaakov is the midah of emes. How is he the midah of emes? Because he never uttered a lie in his life. How can we say Yaakov Avinu lied? Actually, according to the Midrash, now we see a reason why he's going to get punished. Says the Chida Kadosh, the truth is he wanted to send a message of mace. You're dead. So with the Koilo, but he comes out a little bit wrong because he sent him, I forgot which animals, it was 440, how his cheshbon made. He says, you come here, you are dead meat. The problem is, instead of 440, he came out 441. So, what was Yaakov trying to say? He told him very quickly on this, Vayhili shor v'chamer. Do you think he's talking about the animals he had? Yes, indeed, we are right. He had much more animals. Esau could see he had more animals. He gave him all sorts of animals. And why would he talk in the past? He's telling him, since I have crossed the river, right away, the klipa, Ashur, and Chamor, which is Esau and Yishmael. I don't know if I gave the share to you last week on this, but since I don't remember, I always think it was to you. I don't know if we talk about Machlas bas Yishmael, why he took her, that Yaakov didn't know, and what was the intention of Esau. Someone can open the microphone, tell me if I told you or he was with you or not. Or nobody remembers. Okay, I guess.
Sorry.
Huh?
Don't remember.
Okay, at least you're honest. But whatever. Esau realized that he cannot against Yaakov by himself. So he went and he married the daughter of Yishmael, which a witchcrafter, a sorcerer, a tremendous sorcerer, Machlas. And Igra by Machlas, her daughter was having with Shadim, she's whatever. And with this, so when you put Edom and Ishmael, it's Esau and Ishmael, 376. No, it's Edom, Ishmael, equal 338. 12 times Yud Ke Vav Ke. Esau said, oh, I'm going to come at you. I'm going to get you. Now I have the powers of 12th time Yud Ke Vav Ke, it's all the Shvatim. And then Yaakov sent him back. Yaakov b'nei Akatan, I am 13 times Yud Ke Vav Ke. And then Esau started fearing. But all these reasons, it's not one reason contradicts the other. Esau was a tremendous chacham. He understood all these hints from. So any angle you would use the angle of the Nachash. I will get you. You want to use the angle of the Shem Hashem. I will get you, no matter what you do. So Shor Chamer is the two klippas of Edom and Yishmael, which together equals to 760. You remember when we spoke about it on from Targum Yonasan. How did they do Korban Pesach? They had to have the merit of doing Korban Pesach before going out of Mitzrayim. But it says someone who does the Korban Pesach outside of Yerushalayim is Chayav Misa. So how did the Korban Pesach in Mitzrayim? So the Targum Yonas on the Talmud of Hillel HaZaken tells us tremendous chiddush. The Chida took it in Barkedemes. A few times Chomas Anach he repeats it. He went ballistic with that chiddush. That's the first time HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us in the Anonim flying like the Kanfei Nesharim. Va'esa eschem al Kanfei Nesharim va'avi eschem Eloi, says the Targum Yonasan. HaKadosh Baruch Hu flew all the Bnei Yisrael to Har Moriah. They did the Korban Pesach and ate the matzah and the Korban Pesach on Har Moriah. In other words, to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have freed them. No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted a Geulas Mitzrayim, and he brought them back. There's nothing in Geulas Mitzrayim that's not going to happen to us, including the Kanfei Nesharim. The Ananei Kavod will come and carry us also. Kanfei Nesharim is 760. Just to show you the power of the Shor and Chamer, it goes all the way to the Ananei Kavod. But when these two, Edom and Yishmael, they have Amalek with them, then it's a catastrophe. Vayhili Shor v'Chamer. But when you add Kelev, which is the klippa of Amalek, then it's 812. Shor, Chamer, Kelev equals 812, exactly like 2 times Metzora. You remember in Metzora when we gave the shir, the 10 spheres of the person all are from the Nachash. His neshama is not his real neshama that he was born with. He loses everything, and he gets a new neshama from the Nachash. This is how the tuna and it's equals to Ani Kel Shakai. Amalek has the power to uproot the Yud, the first one. Shor Chamer, okay, they're gonna mess with you in this world, you're gonna be punished in the next. But okay, you're gonna have an Olam Haba after that. With the Caleb, with the dog of Esau, of Amalek, you lose both. Yaakov Avinu realized, he said, Vayhili in the past, as soon as I crossed the river, in 2 seconds, I got the Shor and Chamer. But I didn't get the Caleb. And I see Beruach HaKodesh that Amalek is going to do disasters, not only physically, but even philosophically, because he has a way to do the ruach znus, to put the ruach znus in the mind of the people, and Hirurim Raim equals 786, Keser Elyon. He's all the way up, Amalek, much stronger than Esau. Much stronger than Esau and Ishmael together. Then he realizes, Yaakov, I need to work on this. I mean, in this Parasha, it's also hinted the nest with the Yevanim, with everything. I can go into everything, but what I'm going to tell you is that the reason Yaakov sent Malachim to Esau, because his grandson was Amalek, and he needed to take part of his power. If we are taking, I don't remember the number here. Where is it? Oh yeah. Vayishlach Yaakov Malachim. Let's go back to the Psukim and close it on the Psukim. We asked the question here. Okay, let me make it simpler. Equals 677 equal exactly what we said, the Klippa scalar. He went for Amalek. He went for helping us in every situation, meaning for Purim, for Hanukkah, for all the big sorrows that Am Yisrael went through. He went to lower his power. And what's the strength of the Klippas Caleb? He showed it on the Ruach Znus. He doesn't have to touch us. He can send, he can mess with our minds. Exactly like happened in the Midbar. Now, one of the worst Klippas, it's called Erva. It's the Ra together with the Vav Hey, which is, Zohar says, this is what the Der Haflaga wanted to do, to commute the bad with the Vav Hey, so in order to force that there should not be punishment in this world. We can do what we want and we'll never be punished. So the Ra shows the behavior. Now, if we write it in full, Ayin, Resh, Vav, Hey, same guy, Klippas Caleb. Yaakov Avinu had to put a stop to this, to put a stop to his power, to lower his power. And when he sent the Malachim, with the Kedusha of the Malachim going there, their mission was to trap the Klippa of Amalek, the Klippa of Caleb, and bring it to Yaakov so Yaakov can, that's what he said, Lefanav, before him, bring it to be before me. So if you take, and then look, there's so many, I don't even know how to close that share, but I just want to show you all these nations. They will have 3 Gzeres on us: Torah, Shabbos, and Milah. The 3 are written in this passage. That's from the Bas Ayin. So if you take the first letter, okay, I need this letter. Vayamal. Milah. They know that these are the foundations of Bnei Yisrael. Without it, we are lost. We're just like another nation. So what was he fearing? Because now we have to answer the last question here. This equals to 608. I could have put it equals on here. Equal to MS in full. Aleph, Mem. So. What is he telling me here? He was scared from Esau because there was a lack of truth. He got the brachas bemirma by tricking him. So he lied. So he said to himself, Yaakov Avinu, yeah, Kadosh Baruch Hu protected me with Lavan and everything. To whom I never lied. But to Esau that I lied to, then maybe the Satan will be mekatreg, and maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu won't be able to defend me because I'm not in the emes side, I'm in the sheker side. I lied. That was the reason Yaakov Avinu was so fearful. When Yaakov Avinu made his neder, here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu talks in this world. Yaakov Avinu speaks in general to the next world. My journey in this world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu watch over this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, "I'll watch your journey to Haran and back." Yaakov is asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, "You, my father, until I return my soul to you, watch over me, give me parnasa, give me everything, so I shouldn't be tempted by the other side." Once Yaakov saw that he was getting this already, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give him this for this journey, he's asking for the whole life journey. I'm going to show you and close on this. We said Atza Seir. Where is Atza Seir? Here it is. This equals to 876. Equals to all the galuyos we're going to be going to with the Shechina. Bavel, Madai, Yavan, Edom, Shechina. Exactly the same thing. The concern of Yaakov Avinu was not to send Esau, I'm not fearing from him because of anything that he is or he has or he represents. I can beat him and give him a spanking like he never received in his life. Yaakov's concern was the Bnei Israel in the next generation, in these four. And for the Shechina, that's going to be going together with them in Golus. And if we're taking it with Atza Seir, Sedeh Edom, so now if I just add up here, I don't want to go into Sedeh Edom by itself because it's going to take us a different route. But if I just do this, this equals to 1,236 equals Torah, Milah, and not Shabbos the way it says Shomer. I couldn't explain you why Zohar and Shomer here, but the Rachaim explained that the power of feeling, your capacity, basically, what comes out, your capacity to keep Shabbos is your capacity, how much you invest when you wear the tefillin. The tefillin have 21 times Yud Kei Vav Kei. 21 is also the name Keye, Aleph Hey Yud Hey. So it's Keye times Yud Kei Vav Kei equals Shomer. Shomer is Yama Shabbos Lekadshoy. So this, the Shmira of Shabbos depends on the wearing of the tefillin. But now, if you write Keye and Yud Kei Vav Kei in full like this, Yud Kei Vav K, which equals to 72. And K like this. Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey, which equals to 161. Together equals to 233 equals Zohar. So you have Zohar and Shomer hinted in the tefillin. And you see that your capacity, so now look, things that you do during the week have a different effect. So say, how can I keep Shabbos? How can I have my Simcha on Shabbos when you wear the tefillin? How do I get under the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Watch your mouth. Never say a lie. Ever say a lie. Number 3, you have no reason to fear anyone or to fear any situation or to fear the worst or to fear anything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with us. Yaakov Avinu did the avodah already. And there is no question. In anything we're doing, Hamechin mitzadei gaver. HaKadosh Baruch Hu prepares the footstep of every person from that day. There is no doubt to have that this is his decision and we have to go through. A Jew is fearless. Baruch Adonai Elohim, amen v'amen. Okay, stop recording.